Podcast.
Podcast start. So, hi, I'm Mike. My favorite horror movie is Trick or Treat. I work as a web developer at a company called Impact Media.
Well, I'm Jake. I'm a graphic designer. I live in Orlando. Um, I'm, yeah, my favorite horror movie is the original Halloween.
And I'm Josh. I work at a university here in Winchester, and I'm a web developer, WordPress.
I don't like the
And this is
awkward.
my cat walking on the keyboard.
Yes, I am Tasha, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, and my favorite movie would be Nightmare on Elm Street. The original. Not that crappy 2010 version.
Yeah. And out of me and Tasha, definitely she likes the old horror movies. I'm kind of like, I really like the Conjuring universe and like the Trick or Treat. Like I like Hereditary and like all these new modern horror movies. But she's been getting me into the 80s stuff. But yeah, so that's how our dynamic goes.
And I side more with Tasha. I'm more into like the slashers and like the campy 80s gore. So hence the movies I picked to review this month.
I think Josh is more of a round robin. What do you guys think?
I am a round robin. I agree. I agree. I'm just I'll jump on whatever boat is floating that I can see.
Dude, I love that painting. I have now. People
Yeah, he did that painting.
Dude, I love your painting.
Yeah.
Right? That's my family.
Yeah, you got to send me a painting so that when we're talking about it right now, I can like put the painting on the screen for you to see.
No, and it looks pretty gory and stuff like that too. So I guess it like is appropriate to this theme that we're talking about.
And it was painted by our own Josh, whatever your last name is. I don't know. Are we doing last names?
Come on, you don't even remember my last name?
No, I know your last name, but are we like saying them?
We don't have to this time. You know what? If you're the one guy watching this podcast, you got to comment on the video and be like, "What's the last names? I must know."
What's Josh's last name? Let me know down in the comments below.
If you guys guess Josh's last name, then I will. The first person to guess it, I will buy you one of Jake's T-shirts and send it to you.
Oh yeah, I make T-shirts like this one.
Yeah. They're not going to see the video. We're not recording.
Oh, we aren't? Well,
yeah.
Imagine in your mind's eye this really great T-shirt I'm wearing.
There you go.
How about this? I'll just toss the URL on the screen. So what is the URL?
Well, I can plug it at the end, but
It's Messenger 363458085.
I'll plug it at the end. It's fine.
Okay, so we got a list of 4 movies that we're going to be talking about today. We're doing like a horror movie book club type of thing, and we had like a test last week. We didn't record it. We just wanted to see how it went, or last month rather. Sorry, and it went really well. So I decided I'm going to record it and post it to you guys, and just for entertainment purposes for the horror stuff. So if you guys are listening to this towards the end, we will recommend 4 horror movies. We will talk about in one more month. So if you guys want to like participate mentally in the podcast, then you can watch the movies in between listening to this episode and episode 2. So the 4 movies that we have picked is You Might Be the Killer. What are the 3?
Re-Animator, From Dusk Till Dawn, and Pet Sematary.
The original.
The original Pet Sematary.
Okay, yeah. So Re-Animator, From Dusk Till Dawn, You Might Be the Killer, Pet Sematary. And so I'll have all 4 of the box arts on the screen right now. I'm just creating a bunch of work for myself, but that's okay. And because it'll help with the stuff. But anyways, so I guess we can start. I want to put the campy one in the middle. You Might Be the Killer. So we can start out with Re-Animator if you guys want to.
Yeah, Re-Animator was one of my picks, and I picked it because I had seen it about a year or so ago. I had never seen it before, and I thought it was really fun. It reminded me of like Evil Dead, and just with all the over-the-top gore and really elaborate effects on the zombies and stuff. I just thought it was a really fun movie because I find that type of over-the-top gore funny. I know it grosses some people out and gets like NC-17 ratings, but I love that stuff. It just makes me laugh. The more over the top it is, the more funny it is.
What year did that come out? 1985?
Yeah, 85.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I watched it, I thought that the dude's performance that had the head cut off was like freaking amazing. Like
Oh
the
yeah,
acting was so good.
He was my favorite.
And by the way, when me and Tasha watched it, we watched the Joe Bob Briggs commentary version.
oh
So we're
yeah.
commentating on a version that we watched of commentary. So he gave us some information.
Which, by the way, they filmed it in 18 days.
They filmed it what? What?
In 18 days.
Oh,
Wow.
the whole movie?
That's
Yeah.
impressive. Wait, which movie was this?
Re-Animator.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive. So an estimated budget of $900,000. I'm Wikipediaing everything right now. Just FYI here.
Josh is
Yeah.
you're the
I'm the
Wikipedia
research.
guy.
I'm the proof. All right. So make sure you see.
Hey Josh,
Subscribe.
read a quick synopsis of the movie. That would be great for the
Re-Animater, also
listeners.
known as H.P. Lovecraft's Re-Animator, is a 1985 American horror comedy film loosely based on the 1922 H.P. Lovecraft serial novelette. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but Herbert West Re-Animator, directed by Stuart Gordon and produced by Brian Yuzna. The film stars Jeffrey Combs as Herbert West, a medical student who has invented a reagent who can reanimate deceased bodies. He and his classmates, Dan Kane, Bruce Abbott, began to test the serum on dead human bodies in conflict with Dr. Carol Hill, David Gale, who is infatuated with Kane's fiancée, who is Barbara Crampton, and wants to claim the invention as... There we go. We're done. That's it. First paragraph of Wikipedia. That's what you got.
All right. So anyways.
So overall, what did you guys think of the movie?
Yeah, we can start overall. I would probably give it I don't know, it was pretty good. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
I was about to say about 6.5 to 7 for me.
Yeah, I'd say about a 7 out of 10 for me. Also, I think
I'm gonna rate an NA for not seeing.
How would you rate it based on the Wikipedia summary?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of shit here to read, so I can't give you any answers right now.
The one thing that I thought was really cool about the movie was the way they did the serum and how it glowed and stuff. Like in regards to like how they lit the scene, it was just so cool because it was this glowing liquid. And in the sci-fi universe, I could believe that this stuff like did that. And I know it was campy, but whenever I saw the liquid coming out of the fridge, I went into this movie blind. By the way, I'm not cultured, so I didn't even know what Re-Animator was about aside from obviously what comes from the title. I didn't know like about the sequence of events that was going to unfold at all, not even a little bit. And I thought it was really interesting. I like for some reason when the dude took the guy's tuition away, that pissed me off so bad. So like I know that when you watch it, like, oh, you took somebody's tuition away unjustly, therefore you deserve to die, is not a thing. But it made me feel so satisfied to watch that motherfucker die because he's such an asshole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. It was I think pretty much all the characters except for West and the professor, I forget his name, the headless guy.
Yeah.
I thought they all were not very good, but I don't know, the guy playing West had like a Bruce Campbell quality where it's like he wasn't good either, but he had such charisma and personality that I loved it. Because he had like a Dr. Frankenstein vibe going on where he was just like literally insane.
Yeah, and that movie did make me think a lot of Frankenstein.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think we actually mentioned that when we watched it.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I would say, the thing I thought was weird is they didn't really, I don't think they really figured out what type of zombies it were, or what type of zombies they were. Like some of them, it was kind of like Pet Sematary, where they come back as just like animalistic beings that all they want to do is just kill. But then the headless guy, he had like similar motivations to he did in real life. Like he violated the guy's fiance, and he he had like the forethought to reanimate all the other corpses in the morgue. So it was just weird. He was like a uh, super smart zombie, and all the other ones were just like typical undead zombies. I thought that was a little weird, but that's my only criticism from me, who's not an expert on anything.
Yeah,
Well,
I
no,
think they just decided that was going to be the case. Sorry,
yeah,
Tosh.
no, it's fine. No, that's a good thought though, because they didn't really explain it.
But yeah, overall, it was a good movie. It was probably my least favorite out of the four, though, honestly.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would say they're four really good movies. So even though it's a 6 out of 10, it's probably going to be my weakest as well.
I have to.
Cool. So do you guys want to move on to the next film?
Yeah.
Any parting words for Re-Animator?
Sayonara.
it was fun, but I prefer Evil Dead.
Fair enough. Jake actually recommended that last week. Forgot to mention that. That was Jake's entry. My entry was You Might Be the Killer. It is I believe, a Shudder original and a Shudder exclusive, although you can purchase it digitally for like $3. So it's not. It definitely wasn't expensive to make. Just a little bit of info before we get started. The main character of the movie is the same guy that plays the stoner in Cabin in the Woods, which I thought was a really good performance, and I was kind of how I found the movie was like I wonder if that guy is in any other movies on IMDb, and I clicked on it, and then I saw the box art for You Might Be the Killer, and I was like, this, and then I read the summary, and I was like, this looks great. So I watched it, I liked it, and so that's why I recommended it to Jake, and that's why we're talking about it now.
So Jake, do you think it had like a Friday the 13th feel to it?
Yeah, it was. But when Mike told me the title, I immediately thought of Scream, and I think that was pretty warranted based on the movie. But yeah, the setting and it felt very much like kind of a satire of the Friday the 13th type
Yeah,
movies.
I felt Scream and that one as well.
Yeah, I love the recurring joke, by the way, guys, of like Steve the Kayak King.
Steve the Kayak King.
Yes, I was gonna give it a good, but Steve the Kayak King made it an amazing.
Yeah,
taste.
that was, to me, that was the only like joke in the movie, but it was so funny, and every time they did it, it
All
got
that's
funnier.
Yeah, I have no idea about You Might Be the Killer. I haven't even heard of You Might Be the Killer. So what's it about, Mike?
Okay, so the premise of the movie is it opens up, a guy has called a chick that basically works at like a Blockbuster or whatever the movie place is called. I forget what the sign is, but let's pretend like it's a Blockbuster. And basically he says, I'm in a horror movie scenario. I keep calling the sheriff, but it keeps going to voicemail. So I've already tried to call the police. Nothing's happening. So I need to call you because you have seen so many horror movies that you know how the formula goes for like what scenario I'm in now. And so she's on the other line pretty much the whole movie, or at least a good 60 to 70% of the movie, instructing him on like what to do to survive. And then there's a lot of twists and turns. We're going to talk spoilers in here, but if you haven't seen You Might Be the Killer, you might want to pause it, go watch it, and come back, because we're going to have to talk about spoilers in order to like properly talk about the movie. So you, Josh, if you want, go ahead and read the Wikipedia.
I get that. That was my irresponsibility of not watching this movie here. So I'm going to have to deal with these spoilers here. I'm prepared for that.
Yeah. So go ahead and read the Wikipedia summary, and we can get going on more than just Steve the Kayak.
Okay. All right. You Might Be the Killer is a 2018 American meta supernatural slasher film directed by Brett Simmons and written by Clovis Berzoin, Thomas P. Vitale, and Simmons. Just Simmons. Apparently there's no last name for that guy. Based on an idea by Chuck Wendig and Sam Sykes, the film stars Fran Kranz and Allison Hannigan. It features Brittany S. Hall, Patrick Reginald Walker, Keith David, and Brian Pierce in supporting roles. Okay, the plot is like 5 paragraphs. 6, 7 here.
Okay, I've already done a plot summary, so there we go. We got some
You want your actors there. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got to contribute to this one too.
Did you guys think that the mask in this movie was like cool looking? I liked it. I thought it was cool.
It was original.
I don't remember exactly, but I'm thinking like a tiki mask. That's what I'm picturing in my head.
It's like a tree carving.
I always thought of the mask, but with Jim Carrey in it.
Think of like a scary pumpkin face, but made out of bark.
Yeah, that's what that cover looks like.
Yeah, I was really excited about this movie based on the title. I actually watched it like a day or two after our last Skype call, so I had to refresh and watch it again the other night. But it was a really fun movie. It was exactly like the title led me to believe. It was Scream mixed with Friday the 13th.
Also, the chick that played at the store is Willow from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, if anybody's a fan of the TV show.
And she's also the girl from American Pie.
Yep.
No.
Miss American Pie.
But I thought the I thought the structure of the movie was really cool. It was extremely non-linear, and I liked how the story structure it focused on the body count. It even had like a counter. So basically, it was the killer kind of well, there you go. There's the twist. But it was the guy on the phone recounting all the death count, and it was just interesting because it kind of kept you guessing. Well, like who was the second person to die, or who was the sixth person to die, and then you kind of slowly figure it out throughout the movie. It kept me engaged.
Yeah, it jumps around a lot. And I love how when the resurrection happens, it like slashes it and goes to like a different number, so it doesn't really take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
And Josh, mainly the twist is, and we're going to talk about the twist, unfortunately, because we have to in order to fully cover the film. So sorry, Josh.
I get it.
The twist is that the guy, the protagonist, is the killer, even though he isn't aware, and it's because the mask itself makes you to be like a killer. It kind of takes away your personal autonomy and takes over your body and makes you be a killer, and makes you into this like animal, and you're just a killer from like a horror movie.
Whoever holds the mask is the killer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or no, whoever puts the mask on their face, because that's important. Because at one part, a character's holding the mask and they're fine until they put the mask on. But if you get close to the mask, then it calls to you. It tries to like trick you into putting it on.
Well, it's almost kind of like that movie, The Mask, with Jim Carrey. Jim. Okay.
Yeah.
Like a horror movie version of that.
Okay.
So I laughed throughout. Right? Did you guys think it was funny? I know Jake only said that only Steve the Kayak King was funny, but I thought the whole thing was funny. I laughed throughout the whole thing.
I thought the whole thing was funny, and like it wasn't taking itself seriously, but to me, Steve the Kayak King, like they wrote that as a joke, and the rest just kind of, it was funny because it was kind of a satire or a send-up of Friday the 13th and the whole genre. Because well, we can talk. For me, other than the twist of the guy being the killer, I thought the very end of the last two, the two final girls, I thought that was kind of a cool twist too, because they directly mentioned that the horror movie trope of the virgin is going to be the final girl and she's the one that gets out of here, and then wait, no, I think I'm remembering it wrong, because the girl that the killer was in love with, she came back to kill the virgin, but then she ended up dying? Or was it different?
It was backwards. The virgin was the blonde. It was not the one he loved.
Well, the blonde girl was the one who made it out in the end, right?
Yes, but she was also the virgin.
Okay, so I just completely undid what I was going for, but...
No, but it subverted your expectations, because it thought that it was going to subvert your expectations, then it did the conventional thing, so it kind of temporarily tricks you, but then it goes with the way that you would expect it to go. But still, it had me guessing though, because in a joke movie like that it can go in any direction. But I
Yeah.
mean, it was fairly predictable. It's not like a big M Night Shyamalan twist in the end or something. But don't you love how a year later he came back though at the end,
Yeah, that was
Oh,
fun.
yeah,
and she just does this like really giddy smile whenever
Well,
he's like, "Hey, I'm back."
that was a fun callback too because it was. I mean, you find out that the guy's the killer like 15 minutes into the movie, so it's not like super twist, I guess.
Yeah.
But like even the Chuck, the girl from the video store, she even mentions at the beginning like, oh well, if this is a killer scenario, even if it's supernatural, they usually come back in a year or two after they've been killed.
Yeah, that's true. And so she did mention that about, I would say, 45 or 50 minutes into the movie, and then it ended up happening, so it paid off in the end. Like, I think lightning struck or something, like struck his grave, and then he came back. Or I
Yeah.
don't know if it actually told you. Did it tell you? I don't remember.
No, I think she says like when she's talking about the trope, she says lightning will strike the grave or somebody will bump into it and then they'll resurrect. So I don't think it tells you how he's resurrected
yeah,
at
I
the
don't
end.
think so.
Yeah. Which, it means that they can go with the story that they outlined, but your favorite character in the movie doesn't end up dying, which kind of, is fun. I liked that. And also, I've been listening to that outro song by Harlow constantly. I love it. Me and Tasha's little 10-month-old loves it. That's like her favorite song in the whole world. Every time we play it, she like bounces up and down. She's like, I was on the
I don't remember the song exactly, but
uh,
Nothing
play,
about
play
to
it
listen to.
play it right now.
We've been having so much fun.
and everybody headbang, like Wayne's World.
Yeah, it was. I loved the movie, especially for being like a streaming exclusive, not being a big budget horror movie. It was really fun and really well done.
Yeah, whoever that director is, I'm gonna have to like look for his future projects because for what it is, I wouldn't change a thing about it. It's almost so. I guess we can go in that vein. We can go ahead and go to our overall scores and move on to the next movie. You guys, before we go into overall scores, do you guys have any parting thoughts for You Might Be the Killer?
No, I'm good.
Just a side note, director, you said whoever what the director was. The director is Brett Simmons. Correction. Just wanted to make sure I added that in there. Yeah.
All right.
Josh will come back.
Brett
That was my
Simmons.
contribution to that whole topic.
It's good to hear your voice again.
Yep.
All right, so my overall
You go
score.
last. You recommended.
Oh yeah, okay, go ahead.
I would say 7.5.
Can't give a half.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
7.
Tasha can do whatever she wants.
Yeah, I'm the girl. I can do whatever I want.
Okay, nobody else can do halves except Tasha.
Yeah, Tasha has her own scale.
Yeah, 7.5.
She's got a score out of 20 apparently, because you might as well say 15 out of 20. But.
All right, 8.
I would give it a 9 out of 10. It was a really fun movie.
I give it a solid.
Oh, can I speak now?
You may.
All right, Brie Larson. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. It was just like Jake. The only reason I give it such a high score is because for what it's trying to be, I don't think it could be much better. But I think the 1 out of 10 could be chucked down to the soundtrack wasn't especially memorable. Like it was pretty good. It was, nothing was distracting me from the movie. It wasn't poor. But it didn't, like, there's no moment in the movie where I was like, man, this sound is, like, amazing. So the soundtrack wasn't great. The cinematography was passable, but anyways, so I think that I can dock 1 point and say 9 out of 10. Justify that.
So my recommendation is the 1989 version of Sematary.
I guess I'll start. The comparison of the two, I thought that any difference in the way the story is presented is stronger in the new one than the old one. Like the decision of which child is the undead child, I liked better in the new one because it allowed for an older, more experienced, not more experienced, but an older, more directable actor. Just because the child acting isn't as campy as it was in the first one. It did have that modern jump scare sort of, like things, which isn't the best part about it. But I did find it overall, even if jump scares aside, I did find it to be a more scary film, the new one, than the old one.
Yeah.
Although one thing I did like better about I'm sorry I'm taking over so much right now, guys. One thing I liked better about the old one compared to the new one is how much of the backstory you get with the fire scene. You get to see more of what the guy's talking about. So rather than telling you and just talking at your face, he like shows you some of the things he's talking about. I liked that.
Yeah. Tasha, what did you think? Why did you pick this movie specifically?
I wanted to re-see it because it's been so long, but I wanted to compare between the two, which I think the ending between the two is very different.
Oh yeah, very.
Also, if nobody pinpointed, there was the cameo of Stephen King as the priest in the original
Yeah.
at the cemetery when they were burying the old woman.
Yeah, and he wasn't in the new one, or if he was, he
No,
was very much in the background.
He was not.
I liked both of the movies. I'm actually in the middle of reading the book right now. I'm about halfway through, so I've got Pet Sematary fever.
Nice.
So I liked the first one for the campiness. My favorite thing is the Judd Crandall accent in the original. I love it so much. It's so campy and so over the top and ridiculous. I love it. But that's also my favorite thing about I've got the audiobook, and they also have the Judd Crandall accent, and I could listen to that all day. Everything should be in that accent.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall the movie was really good. The only thing that kind of took me out of it was the quality of the special effects. It was I love campy, but I thought it was too low budget and kind of campy looking, especially considering it came out in '89. It's not like it came out in 1980 or 1975 or.
They made the little boy look like a doll.
Yeah.
And I thought the cat in the new one was way scarier than the original.
Yeah, I also throughout the original I just kept thinking that poor cat, like they're torturing that cat in real life. That poor actor cat.
Yeah, that mangled fur and all that is like, ugh.
Yeah, the original followed so far it followed the book pretty much exactly, except for in the book they don't mention Judd Crandall's wife at all. They just they gave some of her traits to the maid, because in the book, Lewis the doctor has to look at Judd Crandall's wife for like back problems or something, and then she dies like halfway through. But they don't have, and I think in the book that kind of gives Judd more dimension to him, because he's pretty much. In the original movie, he just comes off as this weird old man that just he's like the stern old wise man that just tells you don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, exactly. And then I wish the original had like the ritual that they had in the remake.
Yeah, that was with the kids in the masks.
Yes, that was really
cool.
cool.
Yeah, the new one was definitely way creepier than the original.
Yeah.
Which one of the children are the ones that become the zombie in the book?
I haven't gotten that far yet. Actually, no. I haven't gotten to the resurrection yet, but I know that Gage is the one that dies in the book, so I'm assuming he's the one that's brought back. The little boy.
Little boy.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure the movie follows the book pretty much exactly, except for Judd Crandall's wife. The new one, they basically like subverted everything on purpose, I think.
Yeah, I told Mike.
Yeah, they even acted like Gage was going to be the one to die.
I told Mike, because he hadn't saw the original, I was like, go in and see the remake blind, and then we'll watch the original. This way he can't compare all the way through it like I did.
Yeah, the new one, overall, the new one was definitely a better movie. I think in terms of remakes, it felt more warranted than a lot of remakes because they changed very important aspects of the story and kind of they knew they were doing it. Like Mike said, they kind of pointed at the fact that you expect that Gage is going to be the one to get run over, so
Mhm.
it's definitely a surprise when it's Ellie.
Yep.
Well, it's a surprise sort of, even though in the trailer they show that it's Ellie and she's like the demon one in all the
Yeah.
posters. But the trailer did spoil everything because it shows Ellie stabbing Judd Crandall in the ankle. That's like the big part of the movie where you're like, oh shit.
Yes, exactly. Because I was on my edge of my seat because I figured that was going to happen.
I feel like that it's really similar to Trick or Treat in that like one moment when like the old man is being attacked by by little Sam, and I was couldn't think of it, little Sam, and then it just feels like a similar tone, and I really dig that. Even though it's not as drawn out, it definitely raised my suspension level when that happened.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of weird, more so in the book, but in the original movie they kind of push that Lewis, the father, and Judd Crandall, the old man, are friends. But in the new movie they push like Judd Crandall and Ellie being friends, which was
Yeah.
I guess that was to kind of flesh out Ellie's character a little more and make you feel more sorry for her when she does become like the undead zombie girl. But it was just like changes like that kind of I think made the remake warranted and enjoyable to watch for someone that's seen the original.
Okay.
Yeah.
Overall?
Yeah, so Pet Sematary. I guess the only thing left that I have to say about it as a parting sort of thought is I thought that in both films that the acting was pretty good. Aside from in the original, the child that's a bit too young to be an actor I thought was kind of campy, but it's not his fault. He's really young, but it did kind of pull me out a little
What was
bit.
he doing? Why was it too young? Why was it too young?
It's kind of like.
He's like 2 years old. It's kind of.
He's like still got a diaper.
Well,
He's
It's like in the Chucky movies, when the killer doll comes at someone with a scalpel, and you're like, come on, you could throw that doll off of you. It's exactly that same feeling.
Yeah, and like in the new one, you're actually scared. Me anyways. I feel like that the way they did the makeup. Oh yeah, the cat thing. Tasha asked me like which one the cat was scarier in. But anyway, like the way they do the makeup in the new one, it looks like a real, like what a not over the top, just regular real life zombie would look like, in my opinion. Not like The Walking Dead where it's like it wants to look cool and be a zombie at the same time. But no, just looks like something just you dragged out of the yard.
Yeah.
Also, in the original, Gage also plays in the new Nightmare of the original Nightmare on Elm Street as the little kid.
Oh, and the Wes Craven's New Nightmare,
Yes.
that one?
Yes. Yep.
Cool. I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Overall, I give this one a 7 out of 10.
Which one, the original or the remake?
Original, since that was the recommendation.
Yeah, I'd give the original a 7 out of 10 and the remake an 8 out of 10. Actually, both 7s. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tasha.
Original probably an 8, and I was saying remake. I didn't like it the first time, but now that I watched the original, I have to give it a 9.
Give the remake a 9 or the original a 9?
The remake.
A 9. And what's your original rating?
An 8.
An 8? Okay.
Yeah, I would give the original a 6 out of 10 just because I thought it was a good movie, but I feel like it wasn't very well done in terms of the effects, and the story felt really rushed. And just the effect of the doll baby being the guy that he fights at the end, like I think it literally flies down in the attic, and you can just see it on like a wire flying at the guy. That took me out of it so bad, but I would give that a 6 out of 10. And the remake I'd give a 7.
Okay.
Yeah, because the remake wasn't all that scary, but I thought it changed enough about the story to be interesting.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So, Jake, it's your other recommendation.
it is. My second recommendation, because we weren't sure if he was going to be here, so I got 2 this month, was From Dusk Till Dawn. And this was I knew this movie existed because they did a haunted house for it at Halloween Horror Nights in 2014.
Hmm.
I didn't get to go through it, but I'd always heard that it was a fun haunted house, and I had heard that the original movie was pretty good, and I just happened to watch it on Netflix one day, and I loved it, so I recommended it so I would have to watch one less movie.
Yeah, I like that.
Which, yeah, it's one of my favorites, so I was really thrilled when you recommended, because Mike's never saw it.
Yeah, the thing I liked about it is I read the synopsis on Netflix. It was like 2 brothers go on a crime spree and they have it all figured out until the vampires showed up. So to me it's like when you watch the movie, it takes about an hour and 20 minutes or something before the vampires actually show up. So I keep going like, when is the vampires gonna get here?
Like the last like 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Tell me your experience.
Yeah, so Tasha wants to hear mine because we actually didn't talk about it after we watched it, so she's never heard. So for me, I felt like I was very much watching like an episode of Breaking Bad for like the first hour.
Yeah.
You know, like they're doing a drug trade type of thing or like whatever. They're making the drop. They're taking hostages. You know, one of the guys is really unstable, and the other guy is kind of level-headed, and it's like, stop being unstable. And so you have that sort of trope going from them. They abduct this family of people where you kind of root for them. You know, he's got a preacher that's lost his faith. You got, you know, the 2 children that are rolling their eyes at him constantly because he's a dork. And and you sort of have that regular family feeling. And then their world is kind of turned upside down. They go in the RV. And really, like, even though I knew that the movie was called From Dusk Till Dawn, I had no idea it was going to have vampires in it. Like, I went in completely blind. I love Tarantino. I just hadn't seen this one yet. And so I thought this was going to just end up being a drug movie. You know, the name of it's From Dusk Till Dawn. So I'm like, okay, From Dusk Till Dawn, they're going to have, like, a shootout. You know, it's going to be like a shootout movie. Why are we watching this for a horror movie marathon? Who knows? And then they get to the strip club, and you watch, like, the snake scene.
Oh yeah,
It's very nice. And then you, and then everything starts to unfold, and literally everyone starts dying, and this is the best. I loved it. Well, yeah, Tarantino is a mastermind, and I am ashamed that I hadn't seen it up until now.
Yeah, no, that was a classic. That was a good movie. I remember that one.
You've seen From Dusk Till Dawn, Josh?
I have seen Dusk Till Dawn, this one. So,
Okay.
104.
Save this for last on purpose, it seems like.
Because Josh can participate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tasha, Josh, what did you guys think?
Oh, I've watched this ever since I was 9 years old. It's always been a personal favorite of mine.
Same. No, I was really young when I saw this one. It's been like literally probably around 6-7 years since the last time I saw it. But the whole like coming out of nowhere with the vampires, like you're watching the whole movie and like maybe for whatever reason you zoned out and then you zone back in, you're like, where the hell did these vampires come from? So I had to rewind it a little bit. So that kind of whole thing. No, I got the same kind of feeling like Mike did with that. So
yeah, it definitely felt like 2 completely separate movies, but they worked together so well.
Like a 5-minute span window. Like, you had to catch that 5-minute span of like how everything freaking happened because everybody's like blowing up and it was interesting.
Because I mean, you feel like you're getting a regular Tarantino movie, and then you get something else like halfway through.
I like how you have like a 2-minute sequence where they're gonna kick him out, and the RV guy's like, "No, I'm a trucker. I got a truck out there." All right, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, we're good."
Like, let's keep the titty twisted.
Welcome to the titty joints. Here's all
My favorite part that made me laugh like nothing else was when they get to when George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino like kidnap them or no, sorry, it's before that. It's they go to the hotel to stay for the night, and then the preacher walks into the hotel, and the hotel guy just comes out and goes, "What the fuck do you want?" Like, like why would you do that if somebody came in to buy a hotel room from you? Obviously, he wants a hotel room.
I thought maybe I'd have a Big Mac.
What about that freaking vampire band? I mean, come on.
Oh, that was so funny too. The guy was
Everyone's
playing,
dying, and it just cuts to the guitar guy like.
he's playing like his guitar. I think there's a bass guitar that's a human body,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then halfway through, they've killed most of the vampires, or I think all of them, and then they're like, "What about the band?" And then it just cuts to the lead singer like just giving them the finger, and then they all explode.
Yeah, I think that movie had a few unanswered questions in real life of like how certain things happen, but they just
Yeah.
went forward.
I didn't even care about the unanswered question.
It
I love
was-
how they're about to sneak across the border, and they all hide in the shower, and she's just pretending like she's taking a shit or something. Like,
Yeah,
do you mind?
that scene was really tense. That was the most tense I felt throughout the whole movie. Surprisingly.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like the moment in the new Pet Sematary when she falls down the banister. We forgot to talk about that, but when she falls down, and it shows the scene inside of the bathroom. That's like the
Oh, yeah.
maximum scary scene of the new Pet Sematary. But that was the maximum scary scene of this movie. Was the
Are they going to get
are they gonna get across?
No, I love this movie. The first hour and 20 minutes or whatever is a really good like tense filled kind of crime drama, and then the vampire scenes are just fucking hysterical. But
Okay, honest question. If the movie would have went like a Breaking Bad movie and the vampire shit wouldn't have happened, do you think that he would have let the family go or executed them in the end?
oh, killed them for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. And I think they all knew that. And so, like, the kid was kind of right when he was talking to him at the border, but then he was like, but what about the girl? And I'm like, and the kid's sitting there thinking, like, yeah, but we're both going to die. So, like, at least two of us can make it out.
Yeah, and I was very relieved when Quentin Tarantino died because I really thought that he was gonna like molest the daughter, and I was
Yeah.
just
Yeah. I did not want that.
I didn't like it.
and also I really it was unsettling, but I loved the bank teller woman that they kidnapped in the hotel. Like when she died and they never really showed it, they just kept kind of giving you flashes of blood, like in The Shining when Danny just kind of sees the flashes
Yeah.
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
Grady twins.
Loved that.
That was really well done. I thought.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I thought in that movie that Quentin Tarantino kind of looked like the angry video game nerd.
Yeah.
He's gonna take you back to the past.
Oh no. Okay. Sex Machine. The Tom Savini, the makeup artist, the character he played. I also thought it was the funniest thing when he pulled out his cock gun.
Oh yeah, Sex Machine.
Yeah, like it's what if you think about it, it's a barrel of a shotgun with two like revolvers down where the balls would be, and you just think about it, that wouldn't work. How would the bullet float in?
Oh yeah, the dick gun. Okay, I
But
remember.
yeah, like that whole thing, just like why I want a movie about Sex Machine. He seems very interesting.
Yeah.
Anything else on the checklist?
No, that was it. I really enjoyed that movie. It was way better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, same. Tarantino does it again. That's all I got to say, even though it was back a long time ago.
Well, it was
I'm saying-
also I think Tarantino wrote it, but Robert Rodriguez directed it, and I think a lot of the style came from him as well.
So out of all the movies, what do you rank them with the D4?
Or, wait,
Let's do overall first.
yeah, overall for
Okay.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
You know, even though I've scored everything high in this one, I'm going to score this one high as well. Even though the average movie is obviously a 5 out of 10, so if I give a 5, it's like, it's not a bad score, it's an average score. I'm still going to give this one an 8, because I still liked it better than Pet Sematary, and I gave Pet Sematary 7, and
Okay.
it's a pretty good movie, so I'm going to say 8. That's my score.
It as well.
So 2 8s.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I loved this movie, and
Yeah.
I definitely am gonna watch it again.
I gave it the hateful 8.
And I'll give it a confident 8, even though it's pretty much the only movie there. It's a good one. It's a classic. That's what I got.
So what you're saying, Josh, is it's your number 1, but also your number 4.
Yeah. And hold on one second. We have a guest here. She might give a rating. So what do you rate it? What do you rate it? Give me something. It's
Joshua
7.
Duck.
7
7
out of 10 there. From the shy rater over there on the side. But yeah. So 7, 8s, and a 9. So 2.
Yep.
Yep, okay, there we go. Alright. So overall, all movies. What do we do?
Out of this
What do we
4-pack, I'm going to be a jerk, and I'm going to rate You Might Be the Killer as number 1, From Dusk Till Dawn as number 2, Pet Sematary is number 3, and Re-Animator is number 4.
Nice.
I would probably have to do From Dusk Till Dawn, Pet Cemetery, You Might Be the Killer, and then Re-Animator.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, a cat is attacking me. as I'm
I
talking.
love that cat.
I think originally, or at the beginning, I said that Re-Animator was my least favorite, but I think rating-wise, I gave that a 6. Or no,
You
I
gave
gave Pet Sematary a 6 and Re-Animator
you
a
gave-
7.
7. Mm-hmm.
So I guess in terms of whether I would rewatch them again, the order would be Dusk Till Dawn, You Might Be the Killer, Re-Animator, and then Pet Sematary, the original. Just because I don't know, I feel like the original Pet Sematary doesn't have very much there that I would want to go back and watch it again.
Hmm.
But overall, I liked all the movies this month.
Yeah.
Couldn't say that last month, Josh.
No,
Yeah.
Josh.
You know,
I don't even know if I've seen that movie.
he
yet.
recommended a horrible movie and then he didn't show up.
Well, look at me coming up this time. I'm completely failing on this one. Way to pick me in your group, guys. I mean, seriously.
So now we got to do what next week's or next that week. Well, next month's recommendations, and then we're gonna let Jake plug his T-shirts.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This time, I'm going to pick Rosemary's Baby.
All right. I'm gonna, since Tasha's my wife, I'm gonna go second. Since we're talking from the same little box, I'm gonna actually go campy again. Although after this one, I'm gonna recommend something like less campy. I'm gonna go Zombievers this time. It sounds like it's gonna be. It is as bad as it sounds, but it's really fun to watch. It's so funny.
Okay.
It's as fun as You Might Be the Killer, I think. I like You Might Be the Killer a little bit better, but this one's a good one too. Go ahead.
Which movie was that, Mike?
Zombievers.
Zombievers? Okay, Zombievers.
Alright.
My pick for next month is The Howling. I've never seen it, so I have no ideas going in, but I've heard it mentioned a lot when people talk about like 80s horror and werewolf movies, so want to check it out.
Yeah, I've never heard that one either. I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it, so.
Solid pick.
We're going to do the original When a Stranger Calls.
Okay.
Oh,
I've never seen that one either. So.
Yeah.
All right.
not either.
Huh?
When
No,
a
that was not
Stranger
me.
Calls.
That was not me, but yeah. That's. I'm going to own that one, though. I'm going to steal it.
I've not seen any of these movies. That's
Well,
more than
there
I
you
can
go.
say for this
Everybody's
month.
going in blind except for, well, me and Mike, because I've seen 1 out of 4, and Mike's seen 1 out of 4.
Yeah, but everybody has to recommend a movie. Well, they don't have to recommend a movie that they've already
I will
seen.
say
But...
Jason. That's not seen.
Oh, so you guys are recommending movies that you've never seen?
Yeah.
I've never seen it. Nope.
Well, it's I have other movies I have seen, but I wanted to pick a movie I figured you guys haven't seen either, because then we're all kind of
Yeah,
we're seeing something new.
I'm like this.
Jake, what was your movie again?
The
The
Howling.
Yeah,
The
The
Howling.
Howling.
All right.
And also, guys, just real quick, if you're still listening all the way at the end here, first of all, thank you.
Congrats.
Second of all, if you have any questions that you want us to answer, just random things down below, then we will even do like a Q&A section at the end, just from like mailbag type stuff, like.
But no meanies. We don't like meanies.
Yes. Quit it.
I like meanies.
That'll
Please
do.
make fun of my voice.
Oh, I don't want to know what anyone says about my voice. um,
Sounds stupid.
yeah, so these T-shirts that I do, they're pretty fucking sweet.
Do it. How many t-shirts you got, Jake?
I have 6 designs out right now. My shop is, right now it's called Jake Newman Designs. I might be changing that to make it more horror related and make it more obvious, but
So if they're going to go on the web, what would they type in?
the URL is shop.jakecnewman.com, and if you can go there, or you can follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of the shirts there, and there's links to the shop there. My Instagram is Jake Newman _design, or just look up Jake Newman Design and you'll find it. Yeah, I have 6 shirts right now, and I have a bunch more that are kind of half done. I just need to finish up, but I have 2 Shining themed shirts right now, based on the 2 famous carpet patterns from the movie.
Yeah.
I have Friday the 13th shirt that I'm wearing right now that you guys can't see.
Right.
It's a play on the National Forest logo with Crystal Lake National Forest. I have a Krampus themed shirt. I have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre themed shirt, and an obscure Simpsons reference shirt that nobody will understand but me.
And a link to both Jake's store and his Instagram will also be in the description of this video if you don't feel like typing it in your browser.
Can you give us any insights on the 2 other? You say you're working on 2 shirts, like what the theme might be?
Well, if you go follow me on Instagram, you'll
There
see
you
for
go.
yourself. I posted a picture the other day, but I will say it's a very famous movie about
Horror. Huh?
yes, yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Also, there's a shark in it, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Sharknado, maybe? Oh, okay, all right. All
We all know it's Jaws.
right, my bad.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for coming to see us, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Next month.
Next month.
I'll be here next week reading the comments, so no meanies, okay?
Yeah.
Toss us a like right now, or you're stupid.
Yeah, we got to get that ad revenue up, make all that money.
Share it to every friend that you have. Share it to your grandma. Why did you send me this?
It's great to fall asleep to.
Yeah,
It is. It is.
especially when I yell in different aspects. All right, guys. Bye.